I'm Becca and I'm addicted to media. Today we're going to talk about A Gathering of Shadows. If you haven't read the first book, A Darker Shade of Magic, then I highly suggest you do. I am going to give a brief description of that book first since I don't have a reading ramble about that book. Basically, we'll have a section that is non-spoiler for everyone. Then we'll have a medium spoiler section, which is spoilers just of the first book. And then we will get into my actual thoughts and feelings on the second book in the Shades of Magic series, which is A Gathering of Shadows. So let's just get into it. If you haven't heard about V.E. Schwab at all, she is this really amazing writer who writes for both YA and adult fiction. When she writes under YA, she goes by Victoria Schwab, and when she writes in the adult section, she writes as V.E. Schwab. I know she has a couple other things that are in more of like kind of the middle grade section than the young adult section, like it's for younger audiences, but I know her as V.E. Schwab, and she is just this incredible writer. I love her writing style. I love how she's not afraid to do things a little bit different than what other people are used to seeing from female authors. And she just writes whatever she wants, and I think that's really cool, and it tends to be stuff that I really find fascinating and interesting, and it's not for everyone, but I definitely think that everyone should try it. Her first book in the Shades of Magic series is called A Darker Shade of Magic. It is about a few important characters, including Delilah Bard, who is from a world that resembles our own, but a little bit in the past. She lives in what is referred to as Grey London. Now, I'll get to that in a second, what that means, but she lives in Grey London. There's no magic there, and she has a pretty rough life. She has to steal to survive, and she doesn't have very many friends except for Baron, who is the manager of the pub where she rents a room. The next character you need to know about is Kel, and Kel lives in Red London, and again, I'll get to that in a little bit. He is what is called an Antari. He has magic, and in this world, magic is kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender or The Legend of Korra. You control the elements, so there's earth, fire, water, and air, and I think some people control metal as well. It's just a really interesting magic system. It does feel very different than Avatar: The Last Airbender in that the characters fight differently with their elements, and there's so much more to the magic. Most people, kind of like Avatar: The Last Airbender, can only control one element, if that at all. Some people can't control any, and then there's a decent amount of people who can control 2 or 3 elements, but if you can control 4 elements, you are considered an Antari. And Antaris are really, really rare, and they are marked by 1 black eye and 1 normal eye. And I'm not talking about just like a black, like your pupil is really big. I mean, it's completely black. And that's how everyone knows that Kel is the Antari of Red London. He's the only Antari in his world. There is another Antari, and that Antari lives in White London. Now, White London is significantly less friendly even than Grey London. It's very cold, there isn't a lot of color in the world, and it's so atmospheric, but it just feels really, really dark and creepy. And White London is controlled by the Dane twins, who are the king and queen of that land. And they are very, very powerful magicians, but they also aren't Antaris. So they do have an Antari of their own, and his name is Holland, and he is not happy with the current situation. There is one more London, it's Black London, and Black London is completely shrouded in mystery. Really quick, I'm going to go over the 4 Londons. Grey London, like I said, has no magic. In Red London, there is abundance of magic and people are generally pretty happy. There's still crime and there's still some not so nice things that happen, but there's peace there between the different lands. And Red London tends to be kind of on top because they have Kell as their Antari. The Queen and King of Red London have adopted him into their royal family. And then there's Rye, who is his adoptive brother and the Prince of Red London. And he's really cool. And then we have White London with the Dane twins, who are creepy as F, and Holland, who hates his king and queen and is not loyal to the throne, but has to be because of certain magical systems. And people are power hungry for magic and everything is really screwed up basically. And then in Black London, all we know is that they were the most powerful and something happened and they closed traffic through all the different Londons so that people couldn't pass through to different Londons once Black London went down. And that's all we really know, is that they were way too powerful and the land was corrupted by this dark magic. If that sounds interesting, go and read this book. It is so good. It's such a great series. I really enjoyed the second one as well, so it's definitely worth it. And then I will see you back here to talk about non-spoilers of the second book. Bye! Last reminder to go away if you haven't read the first book. This book is such a good follow-up from the first one. Lila and Kell and Rye have some serious character development that happened in this novel, and we start to see the repercussions of what happened at the end of the last book with the black magic plague that took over all the people because of the Black Stone. And Kell is not heralded as this hero anymore. He's definitely even more ostracized than he was before, but not in the good way where people are putting him up on this pedestal as a god, which isn't really that good either, but in an even worse way, he is feared, and also people are looking to him to grab power, and they don't believe that he didn't have anything to do with it, which he kind of did, but they think he caused the plague. They think that he was the source of the black magic plague, and so there's a lot of fear in his Red London for it. We get to see how Vesk and Pharaoh interact with the Arnesian people, and it's really interesting. We also get to see how the races are different in this world, how people developed differently, maybe because of their magic or because of the different layout of the lands, because we know that the only thing that is the same is that Red London is in the same place as Grey London. There's a lot of things that are called into question too in this story, like, is Grey London actually the London that we know of the past, or is it a different London altogether and it just most closely resembles the London that we know? We get some answers of what happened to Lila afterwards. In the first couple of pages we see the repercussions of her being on a ship, because we know Lila loves to get in loads of trouble. She also has new people that she interacts with, including a character named Alucard. And Alucard has some history with both Rye and Kell that is very interesting as well. And he's a really fun character to read about. One thing that I really love about V.E. Schwab's writing is that she knows how to make very distinct character personalities. And I just really appreciate that, especially in this book, because she already had this very rich cast in the last book, and now she's adding new characters that you still feel for, including people who aren't that important or aren't the main characters. Queen Amira and King Maxim get tons of character development in this, and that's all I can say about that. And then there's this added element of a tournament, the Avantash, which is the element games. It's just really cool. It feels very Harry Potter 4 to me in some places, but also like medieval times with the jousting and the tents, and there's just so many different layers to this story. It's intense. That's all I can say, and I'll see you later. Bye. Fair-O-N and Vesk. Yes, Veskin. I really should have read all these names beforehand so that I would know how to pronounce them, or at least try to pronounce them, but whatever. Not necessary. Oh my gosh, what is her name? She did not let me down. She did not let me down. I mean, I was angry, but it was angry at the characters rather than angry at V. Schwab for writing them that way, so I feel like that's a really good sign. I just realized I haven't been holding this up the whole time. Oh my god.